Hi, this is Ross from VSM. In this video tutorial, we're going to be looking at setting up a simple dashboard to monitor Avaya Communication Manager. So on the screen we have the VSM landing page. This is a customer view. So if you're a business partner, you'll need to drop into the customer first before you can do this. The dashboards are held within Service Desk. Users can create dashboards and save them in a predetermined format, and there's no limit to how many dashboards you can save. Also very common for customers to set up dashboards to run on big screens behind their service desk people or in the service desk, so people can see exactly what's going on in real time. So here's my dashboard here. I wanted to start an existing dashboard. I merely click into Start here, and it's going to start my dashboard. It's going to come up blank. To build a typical Communication Manager dashboard, we'll start with System Health and put in a Communication Manager area here. Trunk groups, this is also a very popular dashlet to run, trunk group traffic details. And then of course voice quality. So if we grab call quality active streams and calls in progress, drag them across onto the desktop. From there there's a simple configuration that needs to be done, so you click on the wrench and then select from the drop down box. So this particular customer, they only have one appliance in their network and one communication manager. Trunk groups presented with the same options. We can monitor individual trunk groups, or we can monitor the whole lot. So I'll choose to monitor the whole lot, and then some simple configuration again for voice quality management. Very simple to set these dashboards up, as you can see. So these have all been established and are now populating with real data. So I'll go through a quick explanation of what the dashboards cover. So starting with Communication Manager, up here on the left hand side we have the host name, we have some information about the server itself, so processor, memory, disk utilization in this column here, and then we have an area here that covers the uptime, so that's the time since the last reboot. Now if I want to look at the performance of the server over the last 10 minutes, I can click on the occupancy area here and expand that out. So I can see over the last 10 minutes the memory usage has been pretty stable around 20%, and the processor is kind of bobbling around between doing nothing and 10% occupancy. Let's collapse that again. Moving up the stack towards the users, if we have a look at the media gateway control area here, you'll notice that the indicator on the left hand side here is green. That means I don't really have to expand this area to see what's going on there. Same with the DS1s, we know that everything under there is running fine. If we do want some detail, we can merely click on the down arrow to expand them, and there's all our media gateways. So we've got the media gateway name, the media gateway number. The fact that they're all green indicates that they are all registered to Communication Manager, and they're running without faults. So if I mouse over, I'll get some configuration and some service information. So for example there I can see for that media gateway there's no alarms, everything's running fine for us. We can also get some additional information related to the configuration, so we can see the IP address, the current network region, the current media gateway controller, and the type of hardware, just by mousing over these media gateways. So collapse that. Again, moving up the protocol stack again, we're looking at the DS1s that reside within the media gateways. So in this case, for this customer, they're largely SIP. They've been running for SIP for many years, so a very early adopter. So they've only got a couple of TDM trunk groups left. This one here, trunk group 69, and when I mouse over that we can see the status of the DS1s. So within VSM, when we pick up the fact that there's a DS1 in the configuration management database, we'll then go out, log into that, and start running the list measurements command. So we can see if there's any errored seconds, bursty errored seconds, severely errored seconds, or unavailable seconds, as you can see. So any of those figures there are not zero, then the dashboard will again change colour to reflect the status and notify that there's an issue. Moving across to the trunk groups dashboard, it's pretty self-explanatory really. It's showing our trunk group name, trunk group number through here, the size of the trunk group, and the number of active members that's going on right now. And if I scroll down, I can see all of the trunk groups at this customer and the status they're in. There's an alternate trunk group dashlet over here, which will give you the performance of an individual trunk group. Where to drag that across, show you in real time in a graphical format what the current loading is. Now moving further to the right for voice quality, this dashlet here is that's the overall view of voice quality. So you can see at the moment there's 722 streams, RTCP streams coming into the dashboard. The vast majority are green. You'll notice a small slither of red across the bottom, which indicates the poor quality calls. And some semblance of yellow there as well. So as you can see from the time across the bottom of this dashlet, this is updating regularly and giving us like a 5 or 10 second window of the performance, the recent performance. So that's looking really good from an overall quality perspective. But of course, when we find poor calls, that's when we want to zoom in and find out exactly what's going on and look into those in the detail, because those poor quality calls are the ones we want to knock over and get out of our environment, resolve the problems in behind them. So that's when we move to this view on the right hand side here. So this is where the RTCP streams are joined together to form calls. So you'll see if I mouse here, there's 697 streams coming in. That equates to 478 calls. So 478 calls in progress. This view utilises the configuration management database to understand parts of the configuration, so we can attach names and labels to things based on the configuration. So for example over here we can see that Natalie has got a good call there. She's sitting at MOS 4.4. The media gateway from where that call came, the MOS is only 2.5 right now. So what this view is intended to do is it's intended to zoom in on these poor quality calls. So we will sort the bad calls, we'll put them at the top of this graph, at the top of the dashlet, sorry, and what you'll see at a glance is you'll start to see if there's any poor quality calls and who's affected by that poor quality. So of course someone like the president or CEO of the company would obviously take precedence over most others, and we can see there in real time what the experience is for our users. Again, mousing over, we get some information about those calls. So we get IP addresses, ports, network regions, and so forth that help us with that diagnosis, help us to prove common patterns. And we have a number of customers that do use this service to pin down voice quality problems. And you'll see, if you'll notice, that a lot of these issues here are coming about from the media gateways at Fanshawe Street now. So while it's a very small portion of the calls, I can see over the last few minutes since we've been doing this video that almost all of the poor quality calls are coming from those Fanshawe Street media gateways, either Media Gateway 1, Media Gateway 2. So we've got an immediate indication there that the problems that we are seeing currently, although there's a very small number, they are dedicated to one site. And of course we can use the historic reporting under Availability Manager to dig into that a bit further to get the cause behind those poor quality calls, including the path across the network. We'll cover that in a separate video. So I hope you found this interesting. Very easy to set up these dashboards within VSM Service Management, as you can see. Very effective. We use the configuration management database to track the configuration, so if anything changes in these environments, these dashboards will simply reconfigure themselves to continue measuring the right stuff. So very little overhead in terms of managing the management application, managing of these dashboards. They'll pretty much look after themselves, like most stuff within VSM. So I hope you found this video interesting and beneficial. Any suggestions, any comments, feel free to contact your business partner or to drop us an email at support@visai.com. Thanks.